Hello, this is a short demonstration of magit or magit doing rebasing in Emacs. So magit is the Emacs front end to Git, and recently this has helped me a lot with rewriting history on a pull request or a monster pull request to try and get it into order or get it in the right shape for review. I'll be looking at some rebasing functions in magit. And I'll start from the most simple one, and that's just to go and edit the wording of a single commit message anywhere in the past. So we all know git commit amend. That allows us to edit just the last commit that we made. But in this specific case, for some other reason, I'd like to edit commit messages which are further back in history. So let's try and do that. So I'm going to use NVPy, which is an open source simple note client that I have on GitHub. And I've created a branch for this demonstration. So we start magit by pressing Ctrl+X+G or magit status, and then in there, let's say I want to see the last few log messages. So I go L for the log pop-up, and then L again to actually show me the log. And let's, for example, say that I want to reword this commit message. So what I do is I go R for rebase. I get the pop-up. And then I see down there, I see W to reword a commit. So let's try that, W. And when I get then, here's my old commit message. And I can now go and I can add some detail over here. Or I can even go and just edit this message. And then when I'm done, I press Ctrl+C, Ctrl+C. And you can see right here, there. It changed the commit message, and you could also see, because all of the other commit hashes are dependent on this one, they've all been changed down history. So just to summarize, that's how you edit a commit message anywhere in history. You go LL to get the log, you put your point on the commit message that you would like to edit, you press R for rebase, and this is where you get all the other rebase functions, and W to reword the commit. And if you decide not to actually change the commit message, just go Ctrl+C, Ctrl+K instead of Ctrl+C, Ctrl+C. Okay, so that was the first very simple exercise. The second one is to reorder and squash commits. So let's, for example, say that I have too many commit messages, and also that the sequence of my commit messages is not exactly what I want. With Git interactive rebase, I can very easily change this, and with magit, it's even easier than with the normal git rebase-i. So I go back to my project. I activate magit with Ctrl+X+G. I'm back in my old screen. This is actually, it looks like a rebase is still in progress here. With the nice thing with the rebase is you can always abort and get back to the state you were exactly before starting the rebase. So let's do that. So I press R and A for abort. I go back into my log, and let's say once again I would like to edit the commit messages starting from this 0.9.7 version up to the present day, or at least 1 month ago. So I put my point on that commit line, and then I go and say R for rebase. I get this pop-up, but now instead of pressing W to reword a commit, I press I for interactively. And then I get this screen. Now you'll note here that the commits, or the order of the commits, has been flipped around. So I have my oldest commit, the one that my point was on, at the top, and this goes all the way down to the current day. So let's say for whatever reason, I would like to merge these two commits over here. So let's just see what this one's about. I can press enter at any point, and then I can look at what that commit did. You can see here, it's just a kind of a bold font application based on some regular expression in the markdown. Okay, that looks okay. And then the next one, I go onto the commit, I press enter. And let's see what this one did. Completely unrelated. Although it's also with regular expressions, I think it was just a reformatting or a refactoring. So let's say, for example, I'd like to merge these two commits, and maybe even this third one down here. Let's see what that looks like. It's a script to generate Mac icon files. Okay, so I'm a crazy developer, and I'm going to squash all of these three commits into one. So I press S on the first commit, which I would like to squash into the one right above it. And then I press S again. So you can see I have two squashes, and these two commits are going to be squashed into the commit above them. So now I'll go, I can see down here on my cheat sheet, I can see it says Control C to tell Git to make this happen. So let's do that, Control C. So what Git has now done, Git has now done, it's gone and mashed together all three of those commit messages. I can now go and pick and choose what I'd like to use. So let's just say I'm crazy, and I'm just going to add them all together. Just reflow that. Okay, and then Control C, and you will see, there we go. So my history has now been shortened as those three commits have all been squashed together. So let's say I'm still not quite happy, because now I would like to change the order of these commits, because I really like to rewrite the flow of time. So again, I go on the point from which, or starting from which I would like to rewrite history. I press R and I press I for interactive. Once again, I get the screen, and over here, I can go and by pressing Alt P and Alt N, I can flip the order of commits around. Let's see what's going on here. Yep. And there's another copyright message. Doesn't look too serious. Obviously, if you change the sequence, it has to be possible for Git to resolve automatically. Dependent, if you change a commit, but that might be dependent on another one, you kind of have to wait and see if Git is able to resolve that or not. But with the interactive rebasing, you'll be able to fix it manually. You'll get kind of an editing interface. But for now, let's keep it simple, and let's say that I want the extend copyright period to 2016 to have happened before the Retina support. So to do that, I just go Alt P. I can see that down there on my spreadsheet. It says Meta P and Meta N to move my commit. So let's do that. I go Alt P, and I can move it up, or down. Let's just keep it above the Retina support. And then when I'm done, I go Control C. And there it goes. And it flips around. It flips around those commits. There we go. There's Retina support after the copyright extension. Okay, there's one last demonstration I'd like to show you. This is something that's, well, I don't know, it doesn't happen as often, but let's say, for example, that you have a commit which is actually, which contains too many changes, and you'd like to split open that commit, and you'd like to turn it into multiple commits. So this is the opposite of squash. Let's call it unsquash. So, okay, let's see if we can do that. So I go back to my magit interface. I can always press G to refresh the current situation. Press log and log to see what's going on here. Let's try and find a commit which is slightly too large. Highlight markdown. I've already edited this one. Let's just see if there's something to break open. Yes, there is. Definitely. Okay. This will do fine. So I can either go in the interactive rebase screen, and then I can change the status of any of these commits to edit, or a multiple number of them. And when I commit this rebase, Magit will give me the opportunity at each of those edit points to break open commits and to reauthor them. But for now, we're going to take, let's say, the more direct approach. So let's just abort this rebase by going Control C, Control K. It asks me down the bottom, abort this rebase. Yes, please do so. And instead of doing interactive rebase, I put my point on the commit I'd like to break open. I press R for rebase, and then in this case, I press M to edit that commit. So I press M, and you will see there that eventually that commit gets an ampersand in front of it. Okay, that means now it's in edit mode. So what I can do now is I can press X, or alternatively, I think it's magit reset. Yes, that's the X that you can see over there. Let's just press X. And then I'm going to reset this to head tilde, meaning it's going to reset the state of my working directory to what it was right before I did that commit. Let's try that. And now I will go back to my magit screen, and I can see there that that commit that I want to break open is now in the work state. And if I go down, I can see here that let's see what's going on here. That's not exactly what I wanted. So it's essentially now gone and unstaged these changes. And because I've reset my working directory to what it was before I did that commit. And now I can go, just remember that single commit was called, let's just have a look. It was called highlight markdown heading heads with bold font. Okay, but now we're going to break it up. So let's say, for example, I'm going to stage this hunk. So I press S for stage, and then I'll commit that as per usual by pressing CC. And it even tells me here I'm splitting this commit. So let's just call this heading, let's call it split commit 1. Control C, Control C. So there it goes. And then I'm going to continue with my unstaged changes and go, oh, there's another hunk I can stage. Also remember that with magit, you don't have to stage the whole hunk. I can even go with just Control space. I can stage, a subset of lines in that hunk, which I won't do right now because it's just too much effort. But you can. So you can actually go and break that up into as many commits as you want, even separate lines inside of that hunk. Okay, but let's just stage this whole thing. And we also stage this new file, which is also part of that mega commit that we're splitting open now. Let's stage that also. And then we're going to call that split commit 2. So now I just press, it's all staged. So it's as if, I'm doing this commit for the first time. Now I just go CC for commit. And then I say, I think, what was it? Heading that split commit number 2. Let's see what happens. There we go. Okay. So now you can see here, I've now got 2 new commits. And the commit I've split open is now void. So let's go rebase and continue. So it's R for rebase and then R again for continue. And we're done. Let's go and look at the log again. And there we go. So now I've gone and I've split open that single commit. I've split open into 2 commits. And well, I've essentially been rewriting history on this branch using magit. So just as a quick summary, let's have a quick look. So first, we looked at how to edit the wording of a commit message. Then we saw how we could reorder and squash commits. So kind of combine commits together and then also move commits around in history. And then finally, we saw that we could relatively easily go into history and then split open large commits into smaller commits. I would definitely recommend that you also go look at the magit introduction and demonstration video of Howard Abrams on YouTube. It's actually, it's brilliant. It's really nice. I hope that this video of mine serves as a kind of an extra exercise or an extra reminder. I'll put the link to his video in the video description of this one. Thank you very much for listening.